You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Dr. Jacalyn, and you are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the business talk show. We are live streaming, as always, on Business Talk Radio and on social media. My co-host, Mr. Al Cini, has the afternoon off. Filling in for him is the Doctor Who of Business, Ben Chai. Welcome, Ben. How are you?
Everybody. Hi, Dr. J. Really excited about our guest. I'm jumping up and down.
Jumping up and down.
Very esteemed man. So would you like me to introduce him or what?
Yes, please.
Do it. So the guest we have today on the business show is a gentleman who has accomplished so much stuff in his life, not just in business, but also given back a lot of what he's done to the youth of today to get them off the streets and the slums of parts of London. He did such a great job. He was awarded an MBE by Prince Charles himself. So I know that you've had a long day broadcasting, Dr. J, with the royal journalist, but this guy has also met Prince Charles himself.
Oh my gosh, how lucky are we to have him here today. Let's bring him out. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, everybody. Nice to hear from you, and nice to be on the show.
It's wonderful to have you. Where are you joining us from?
From London, England. South London, England, UK.
Beautiful. Are you two close to each other?
Not too far. Maybe about 10 miles, if that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we've never met before.
Okay, well, hopefully that's going to change.
Yeah,
we're hoping to.
We met on the platform clubhouse, and I kind of came in and heard, Doctor speaking with a few others, and I sat there in the background for quite a while, and then I said something about what I do, and it just took the whole conversation, which was meant to end at a certain time, and it went for a further 2.5 hours after I told them what I thought. So. Yeah, it was a good conversation.
That's how it works with Doctor Who. He gets people to open up, and before you know it, hours have gone by. So I did watch your clip. It's so impressive what you're doing, how you're helping other people, and your own personal story. But Doctor Who, where should we start?
Well, so what we're going to do is divide this interview into three components. First of all, Michael's business acumen and how he got started from where he did, and then we're going to move on to, his passion subject, which is really kind of helping the youth of today, and then the third bit of what he's got planned for the future, because it's absolutely amazing what he's trying to pull off, and hopefully. A lot of people who will see this interview will think, "Wow, this man! We need to get behind him in some of his projects." So
that's wonderful. I just want to let our audience know that we love to hear from you. I'm sure Michael would love to hear from your comments. We can take live calls on the air. In the States, it's 609-961-1699. And outside the States, you can add whatever code is 011, I think. So anyway, yes, I'm going back to you, Ben Chai.
Yes, so Michael, please, this is past the whatever it is, past the ball. So please start. How did you start out in business, and how did you become to be do so well in business life? Where did you take us to your background? Those humble beginnings.
Yeah, there are definitely humble beginnings. So I grew up in South London, which is an area very close to Buckingham Palace, Westminster, near Big Ben. I was fortunate to grow up there on a housing estate, But it was very good, had a lot of good grounding. My mum worked very, very hard. My dad worked very hard. My mum worked 7 days a week as a nurse, looking after sick patients. And she also ran a market stall. So she done 7 days a week. And I didn't realize till I was older how hard she was actually working. But just being around my mum and my dad, who worked as well in printing and in mini cabin, I realized, you know, you kind of get trained without knowing that you're being trained, kind of thing, to do, you know, work hard and have a good background of and a good foundation. And that was really the foundation for me. I went to a nice school in the local area, and I was mentored. Like I tell everybody, it's always good to have a mentor that's been there, been successful, maybe made a few mistakes, and can stop you from making mistakes. So I got with a mentor who was at a workplace, funny enough, and he was just telling me as a youngster, which I find that a lot of youngsters don't know because they don't have mentors, about property and how you can get into property, and some of the clients that we have coming through our workplace, because we had a corporate racing cart business where they used to come and drive the carts, and all the banks used to come, KPMG, Coots Bank Account, Barclays, NatWest, and basically he just used to educate me about buying houses and not buying things that lose money, thinking long term. And slowly it just started to work on me. And then in I can't remember what year it was, it might have been the 80s, late 80s, my mum got an opportunity to purchase the apartment, 3-bed apartment that we had, ground floor with a garden. And I just jumped at it. I didn't know what I was doing, but because I had those increments of talks about property, I just thought, okay, let me give it a go. And that's how I stumbled into property. And I bought my first house with my mum, funny enough, because that's why we got the discount. At that time, properties in England now, a 3-bed house in London, you're looking at least 700,000. I bought mine for 13 at the time, because we got a discount because we lived there for so long. And then from there, I got the buzz into property, and obviously you do the right thing, make some money, buy another one, make some money, buy another one. And in the meantime, I raced BMX bikes, which we'll get onto a bit later. So I worked.
Great. Can I just help educate some of our global listeners a little bit, Michael? Yeah. So, for example, there are just little bits that they may not understand. So, in a housing estate, Dr. J, is kind of like a place that the government gives you to live, because you're not called. In the old days of the class system, you would be called a kind of like a lower class. Middle class, you had a certain amount, and upper class, you were just like royalty. So that was the old paradigm. Today, kind of more and more people, it's like everybody's like the same. So that's the kind of environment that Michael came out of. Now, when he says like karting, I'm guessing you're talking about go-karting, Michael.
That's right, karting, yeah.
Go-karting. So go-karting are these little things with a bit of engine at the back, and I'm guessing you kind of did the admin or check people in.
I started off just going to work, sweeping the track, and then I became an instructor very quickly because I had good communication skills with clients and young people. So I started a school of training young people in, funny enough, go-karting.
Hold on one second there. This is really, really important. This is you have just dropped a huge gem to people around the world. Michael started sweeping in the establishment, just a place that rents out little kind of buggies that people drive around the track, right?
Yeah.
Now, what he did, which was so amazing, is he listened to some of the customers. By the way, some of the people he mentioned, these are large banks in the UK, and he used to listen to what they were saying. So they used to educate him, just by him sweeping and whatever it is. And because of that, he gained so much knowledge that later on, when an opportunity, when the government offered his mum to buy a house, a 3-bedroom house, at a massive discount because they've lived there, and that's what happens with housing estates if you live there. And then he took that opportunity to then, now he's got all this knowledge to now grow a successful business. I'm guessing this is the slight, because what really annoys me with some of the younger people today, Michael, I think you agree with this, there's this whole thing of internship when we're saying, well, you have to go and work for these people for 3 or 6 months for free, or for just costs, and they say, no, you've got to pay me loads of money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They want to jump from 1 to 10 straight away. They want to go 1 straight to 10 when really they need to take the steps, and they learn the process along the way, which is the longer route, but it's the best route the way I see it, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds like they want immediate gratification instead of enjoying the journey. And there's so many little nuggets during that journey, right, Michael?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've learned so much in all my businesses. Sometimes you see a lot of people that jump from 1 to 10 and want to get it now. And I just do the slow steps behind them. And before you know it, I've either got level with them, or I've gone past them, or they've absolutely crashed their business because they've tried to learn it too fast and rush the process.
I just really, really love that, to Michael. So he's already shared the difference. Also, the next gem he shared was something called compound growth. Yes, and that's what happens in some industries, such as property. So he bought it in the 80s at a price. But just think, even if Michael and his mum bought the property at the market price, which I'm guessing was probably about 70,000-80,000 in those.
Yeah, I think it was like, it was 99% discount, and I think the property was valued at 113,000 or something.
So even if
Michael, did you say 99% discount or 19?
Yeah, 99. Once you live there over 20 years in the system, they give you the prime minister at the time, which was Maggie Thatcher. I don't know if you know Maggie. Yes, she gave 99. It's not like that anymore. But if you got it at that time, you was onto a good deal.
She was very into people kind of. She was great and bad. She created the Me Society, but also she was trying to help a lot of people work and understand and take responsibility for themselves. But here's the thing: even if they bought it at the normal price of, call it 150, today it's worth 700,000. It just kept. I think it's worth more than that in Westminster, in London. But compound growth over the years,
We do have a question asking if 700,000 is the correct number.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more.
I'd say between 600 and 700, because it was an estate. If it was an estate flat, so roughly about that price now, between 600,000 and 700,000 pounds. So that's a lot of money, and
a lot of lessons as well.
In
understanding compound growth. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Michael, carry on. This is great.
Okay. Fascinating.
So we go to the go-karting. And while I was doing that, I really like riding bikes. And my dad bought me another slow step, a racer when I was young, a little racer, a Claude Butler. For some of those older folks, they would know what those bikes are, like what they ride in the Tour de France. And I used to get up to all sorts of things. It was meant for the road, but I was jumping milk crates and all sorts of stuff. But eventually, I got my way into a BMX bike. And then I used that BMX bike to travel the world. I went into competitions in local areas. And then I met up with other top riders who were very good at the time, #1 in England and British champions. And they told me to come to the local races and the ones that were national races. And me being me, I kind of just looked at the train and said, right, I'm going to go to one of these races. I put the bag on my back, put my helmet on my back. Just got my money from my go-karting job. My mum used to give me money from the market stall that she had. And I used to just go racing and just see the whole of England and the whole of the world when I got really into it, traveling to Europe, traveling to other countries, racing, doing really well. Won quite a few races and earned quite a bit of respect as that young boy that came from London. And at that time, there wasn't many black people in BMX in England. So for somebody to come from where I come and win a few races was quite astounding to people to say, look, this boy's got a heart for it. And I used that discipline because it was a lot of discipline. It was a lot of training. It was like boxing training. You lift the weights, you go running, you do the stretching, you do the eating, you drink healthy. And I used that to actually propel myself into my DJ career. So I was doing property. I got a lot of experience from the go-kart track with communicating with people, because that's a big thing, communicating with people and building relationships and networks. That really helped. And then, as I said, from there, who's that? Sorry. I went on to DJing because my brother was a DJ. And again, I took the slow steps. I went behind him and watched how he DJ'd in the clubs. I watched how he presented on the radio. And then from there, I went into the radio and done a lot of demos that he could approve, because he was a big DJ. He didn't want to have his brother coming on embarrassing him. So then I went onto the radio and was doing these demos while he was on there every 3 hours for 4 or 5 times a week, until I perfected my speech and how I could talk on radio and how you project yourself. And then I got a radio slot, and I was very lucky, because I got drive time on one of the biggest stations in London.
What was the station?
It was called Choice FM.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is big.
Choice FM was like, Hot 97 in America. I don't know what stations are big. So I got onto the station and I was playing the music, the normal music, the R&B and everything else. But I really wanted to project myself out there and become a big DJ like everybody would like to be. So what I did, I started to bring on the English young people, that the people, you couldn't hear their music unless it was really, you was on the underground circuit. So I started to meet a few artists, and once I knew their music was sounding good, but they weren't just getting the platform, I started to bring them onto my radio show and introduce them to other DJs. And that grew me at an astounding pace. Till I got really big, and I was kind of the go-to person with my brother, who was still on the radio station, to get their music played. And I started DJing, the radio kicked off, and then while I was doing that, I decided to go back to my roots and give something back to the community and use that platform as the radio to help me project out there and tell everybody about what I'm doing. So I went to.
Now let's dial it back a little bit.
Yes. And we have to take a break to hear from our sponsors. But go ahead, Ben, if you want to sum up.
Yeah, just a very quick sum up. So first of all, Michael, I'm guessing your big DJ name was DJ CK Flash, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's a great name.
CK Flash. Here we go. So the first thing is that you in each of these industries you went slowly. You didn't hey, I think I can do this. I watched my brother do this DJing. I'm going to be a DJ. No. He said, I want to see you slowly. I don't care how much you've watched me. Same with the buying property. I'm guessing that you had to grow that as well. And the same with the BMX stuff. You also, the second thing is you also networked with people and gave in some way some kind of value to them. Maybe to your brother in his DJ, maybe to the BMX, the guys who knew stuff. I don't know whether you carried their helmets or something. I'm guessing. But in each one of those, you took your time, you took you grew your skill set. And then when you were ready, you were ready.
That's right. And that's basically what I did. I went from building my skill set and using the same technique to build others, because like a muscle, you can't build big muscles in a day. So I started a BMX club. Obviously,
so we're going to come on to the BMX club just in a second, because I know we've got some our sponsors who make these shows possible want to share this.
We are going to take a break. When I come back, I just wanted to say that I think one thing that is the foundation for everything that you've done is honing those communication skills, because whether it's property, everything that you do impacts how you communicate your message and how people are receiving the message. So I think that's really important. You've done a great job.
No, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going for a break. I'm going for dinner.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy, Sedan, and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from 4-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the business edition. It appears our guest, yes, Michael is in the house. Doctor Who must have gone out to get some more to eat, so we'll bring him back. So, Michael, your story is so fascinating, and we were just getting up to the part where you are giving back and giving back and giving back. And before we get into actually what it is you're doing, can you share with us what is the motivation that you have to want to help other people?
Well, it's like what you just said. You can't improve your life unless you give back to others. And that's the first point. We just put that straight. And I think, a lot of mistakes has happened in this world because a lot of people hold and try and keep things to themselves, when if they help others, they will feel more gratitude through their life. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Once you've achieved so much and you've planted the seed from early, some people maybe not have been as fortunate as you to have planted a seed to make it grow and flourish. But if you can build, what you do, businesses, companies, and help people along the way that maybe wasn't as fortunate to rise up and be better, then, when it's your time to part the earth, you're going to have a good life. Put it in that sense.
I love that. And, when I started this platform, I started it with one show called Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity. And I wanted to give people a platform where they could share their story. And I think it's important what you just mentioned, because there are so many times we hear people are successful and how much money they have and how many houses they have and how much, tangible things they have. But how much are they actually giving back? How much gratitude do they have that they then want to go and help other people? So you are certainly an incredible gift to this world. And go ahead.
And like they said, how much houses can you live in at once, or how many cars can you drive in at once? There's other people around the world that maybe barely can get a clean drink of water, So, I think, as well as doing what people do in business, sometimes we have to give back and help other people up and try and make the world a better place and let people see the light.
Great point. Dr. Who is back with us. Hello, Dr. Who. It's great to have you back. So while you were gone, I was just chatting with Michael about how important it is, even though you're successful, that you have to give back. And sometimes people focus on everything that they've accumulated, all their money in the bank and all their property. But it's the wealth, I think, is really in the giving back.
He's not speaking. Your microphone.
We can't hear you.
I said, I noticed there were some questions in the chat. Have we answered those as well?
No, we haven't seen. I haven't seen them.
I think you've got a friend, Sabrina.
Okay. Yes, Sabrina. Yeah, friend. Yeah, that's right. Wonderful platform. I used to work for American Airlines, and I'm used to the US. Okay. Yes, Sabrina. Yeah, she's a cake maker.
Really?
Yeah, cakes are wonderful. You guys, I have a meeting I attend every Friday, which is with the local authority, which is the government, the police, the councillors, local communities, church groups, and we talk about issues within the community, within an area of where I live. And we try to solve young people that are getting into trouble, to try and help them to get out of their trouble, or help their parents even find them, because there's some things going on in London where it goes around all worlds, because everywhere's got that place where people are amazed by the Facebook and the Instagram, and they just want to, like we was talking, Doctor, about getting that money and getting that fame, and they go all out and do anything to do it, even like disown their families or even their mothers. So we sit in this meeting and we just try to work out how can we bring that young person back in and show him the right way to go through life without going down the wrong path.
That is brilliant. For our audience, I just want to explain something about Sabrina. So Sabrina is backstage. We can actually see that there's a box with Sabrina, but we can't see Sabrina's face. So I was just putting in the chat, does anyone know Sabrina? Because sometimes we have people drop into the backstage and we don't know if they're, a robot or if they're an actual person. So anyway, welcome, Sabrina. And Sabrina wants us to know more than just a cake maker, but likes to bless those at the meeting with cake. So,
yeah, that's right.
Can I give her my address? Is she international?
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, I have a friend who does cakes, and I'm guessing Sabrina may be one of these kinds of cake makers, but she takes like 3 months to design and build a cake, and she's built these for royal families and so, and they're like amazing. Just not just big, but the intricacies of the cakes, just really, really
Works
fun.
of art.
Yeah, really, you don't want to eat it because it looks so good. Yeah. Anyway, back to Michael, Mr. Pusey MBE. So, share with us a little bit about the BMX journey and how you got the MBE.
Okay.
And
Again,
one quick thing, sorry, because so for the audience in the States who might not know what MBE stands for, can we share that?
Yeah, so basically, I got the MBE from Prince Charles, the royal family, and it's the member of the British Empire. It's an award of outstanding achievement for contribution to youth in London, England.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
He had one spare in his cupboard. He said, "Oh, hey, I've got one extra. Let's I'm teasing. Where did I get that?
I've actually.
You have it around?
Whoa! I do.
Brilliant.
Here we go. Let's have a look. There you go.
So this is.
Oh wow, magnificent! What an honor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So actually, I don't really pull it out that often, so actually, good thing we spoke about it. It's good that you guys can see it.
Michael, can you share with us a little bit about what it was like, that moment when you were awarded that?
Yeah, it was. A matter of fact, I was sitting exactly in my office here, and you get your normal letters, and you have them all piled up, and you're going through. And this letter, when you see these letters, it's normally either it looks like an IRS letter that you haven't paid your taxes. So I was like, oh my God, what have they got me for now? Because I always pay my taxes. And I was like, that letter that you just keep on the side, you're like, I don't want to open it yet. Let me have a night of sleep, and then I'll open it in the morning when I can take that kind of wording that they may be trying to use to get their money back. And something just told me, all right, well, just open it and see what it is, because obviously I must have got through my work. And when I opened it, I was like, this ain't a letter for IRS or they call it HMRC in England. And I just read it. I was exactly like that. I was quiet, and I was like, hold on a minute. I said, this is for,
did you think it was a hoax, Mike?
Pardon?
Did you think it was a hoax? Do you think it was one of those like phishing where someone's trying to get your details?
It was really hard to take in, because that's like a Hollywood star kind of thing, And I won awards before, but nothing as big and gracious as that. And then, I went to my mum, showed my mum. She was really happy, told the family. And then obviously through the BMX track that I run, which we'll tell you more about, the bike track, all the kids, heard about it. The parents heard about it. And it was just a wonderful setup. And then, you get the letter and they tell you can't say anything because your name's going to come in the newspapers, on the news. I was interviewed, and, they give you the protocol when you go to Buckingham Palace, who you can bring, how you can drive in. And then they tell you how you walk up into the main room where they present you with your award. And they tell you how to walk in, how to turn, how many steps forward. Once you've received your MBE medal, you step back and you turn back, and then you walk out the hall. But I'd done a little dance. I kind of messed that one up. I was like, nah, I'm going to give them some London style. So yeah, it was great. My mum was there and everybody celebrated. And then, like I said, I got so much emails and messages from people I haven't seen for years, from when I was a youngster, because of all the news that was blowing up over here on it. And that took it to a next level. And I wouldn't, I would do it all over again if I could.
Just out of interest, did you ever get anyone who's a little bit jealous?
Not really. I think if you get it and you ain't really done anything for it, then people can say things. But because I think I've been going along, and doing things naturally. So from the radio station to DJ to helping young people get on, most of the young people that I helped get on at the time, they were all, one of them went to national #1, or a few of them went to national #1 in England, if not top 5 or top 3. So I already had a street cred on the music scene. And then I started the BMX team, which was a total different direction, which is BMX bikes, which you would call in America bicycle motocross back in the day. And then I started, we're going to the journey of the BMX. So I started a BMX club at a track in the heart of Peckham, South London, which is like a projects. And it was on a back garden track, no bigger than somebody's back garden track. Now, just to let you understand.
So just to put that, the people's back garden into perspective, because the Americans actually have really large back gardens now. So
we'll say very small, maybe 100 meters, maybe 50 meters by 50 meters big of size. But the track they race on is 400 meters by 400 meters, you know, so it'd be like 400 meters by 400. So it was a very small pump track. They call it little, like you see the little kids on. And I started a club there in Peckham. Prior to that, I started another club, which is only a mile away. And I had this knack of coaching because I learned it from when I was doing the go-karting when I was young. In the go-karting I told you about earlier, training corporate people and then training young people how to drive go-karts. And then I took that same model and all my experience, and obviously what also helped me, everything that I've done on radio, projecting the voice, learning how to speak, learning how to play music, knowing the tempos, knowing when the music drops, knowing what the crowd's going to do. I used all of that, and I realized all my experience built into one helped me deliver programs just by speaking and doing the actions that I do. And I was very able to read talent when I saw it in music and in sport. So I put it into the BMX club. And what I did, I turned up every day for these young people. Not every day, but the times I was meant to turn up. If it was raining, I would turn up. If it was snowing, I would turn up. If it was hot, anything, I would just turn up and be consistent and train these young people. And within about 2-3 years, those young people were so fast that they won. And remember, these were the underdogs. They came in with second-hand bikes that were maybe worth maybe $200, where they were racing young people that was on $2,000 bikes, and they wiped the floor. So basically, they won all the titles in England. So they won regional, national, British. They won somebody won a European title, and then we got our first world champion in 2012 at the before the Olympics. So the achievement that we did, we were underestimated, but we achieved way past what people expected. And that's how that really came about. And then the reason for it,
just stop you a little bit there, because there's so many, again, gems, and what an achievement, as Dr. J's quite rightly. By the way, I noticed, you know, that you've obviously still got the DJ on the vinyls. But some very, very important points. So many here. First of all, whatever you do, and I've noticed this in my life, whatever you do, start out like you were just helping people in the go-karting days.
Correct.
But that skill has taken you on more and more into like being able to coach and educate people. And so people say, Ben, you've got so many diverse businesses. How could you be successful in each of those? But they were built on kind of skill sets that I learned, a bit like your one in the go-karting, really.
Yeah. And
the
also,
is,
if you haven't got the skills, you get people that can help you elevate that have also got the skills that you haven't got. And that's how I got the BMX track. I wanted it. I got people that could do all the applications for me. And I just fronted the business until I raised, I think it was 1.2 million. And then I went from the little small track and I built an Olympic training track in the heart of the projects.
I'm going to make you an MBE for myself. It's not isn't worth as much as Prince Charles. But so the second really important lesson is, because from our previous conversation, we've only spoken once, but I understand you were tough on those kids. You turned up in the rain. You turned up in the cold. You expected them to give 100% as well. And if they messed up, and started having an entitled kind of mindset, I'm pretty sure you were very hard on them as well.
Yeah, it was very hard. The training's still hard now. So some people can take it, some people can't. But I'll be honest with you, there's nothing better than when you've had a real hard workout and then you go and do what you normally do and you're overachieving more than what you expected. And sometimes you do need that coach to take you past that barrier, because I
just want to focus on that overachieving, Dr. J, because you often made them work on a small track, but the track, I had a look at it, is tougher than those big tracks, which are smooth. So not only were you giving them great discipline, but they were on a hard track, even and on bikes that weren't as good as the $2,000 bikes. So they were massive underdogs, but of course they were going to overperform and win.
They were hungry.
The track was rubbish. Their bikes weren't as good as everyone else's. Absolutely, they were hungry, and they had. I'm guessing you weren't just tough, but when they did inspiring stuff, you gave them a pat on the back. And made them feel good about what they achieved.
Correct. And it was really hard to get a pat on the back from me. So everybody was on it. And what happened, because the whole group was in that proper mindset, that mind of achieving and grabbing what they wanted to, and realized that if we do well at this, CK said, he will take us to the Olympics or take us to America. And I'm a man of my word. I took a few of them to America. And when they came back, that's when the whole process of them accepting them onto the Olympic team. And one went first, then another one went first, then the girl went first, then another boy went first. And it all started to roll. And they were realizing, hold on a minute, Peckham BMX Club, run by CK, is 70% of the Olympic team. It was just crazy. I didn't realize it until somebody pulled me, because obviously I'm going along the journey. But they said, you've got 70% of the Olympic team is your club.
Wow, that's incredible. Michael, I'm wondering.
I want to sign up to be on his BMX club. I'm sorry.
This is what I want to know.
And be in the Olympics.
Can you share with us at a high level, what does that training program look like? I mean, I know it changes over time, but
so in the winter you have like at least 6 to 8 weeks of, you still ride your BMX, but then you get on the road bike like what they ride on Tour de France, and you might do like an hour and a half ride, just so you can build up your cardiovascular, so that you're getting really fit. And then that you got 2 to 3 times in the gym, building up your squats, which is get your legs ready, your chest press, your sit-ups, your core strength, sit-ups, plank, all those kind of things. And then obviously you turn that strength and also that cardio into speed. So you do hill sprints, you do short sprints, because it's only a 35-second race. So it's very explosive. You do box jumps. So you've got a box that you have to jump on from a low level with one jump. So, it's a lot of stuff. Stretching, it's eating right, it's drinking water, it's getting enough rest so your body can recover. It's doing all the components, and none of those components can work without each other. So you have to do everything, and then you get the best performance team. And what I was saying before was, because I had a group that was all on the same level from 4 years old right up to 15, what happened was, if the 4-year-old won the race, he would come back to the team tent and say, I won my race. What are you guys doing? And they had that kind of competition going. So nobody wanted to lose to the little 4-year-old who was named Kai White. Now, Kai White did that, and it made everybody start winning. Everybody had that hunger. Like, I ain't going to let Kai go home and say that I never won a race. So it started to filter through the 15, 20 young people, and who they all started to win. And funny enough, Kai White is now 21 or 22, and he's tipped to win the Olympic Games this year.
Incredible. Oh my gosh. You know what? I was thinking of asking if I could sign up until you got to those wind sprints. And then when I heard box jumps, I said, forget it. Have you ever done a box jump, Ben? That is so hard.
In my dance training, our choreographer makes us do lots of box jumps. Most of us can do about 1 or 2 and then we die.
Well, that team obviously is in amazing shape, because that's a tough turf workout schedule.
Just a quick question, Michael. We had a guest earlier today on a different show who said that I have to drink as much water as half my body weight. Is that what you make the kids do as well? How much water do you make them to drink? Oh, your microphone is muted. Yeah, it's still on mute. Oh dear. Maybe that's your new talent, miming.
Oh no, he's gone. Maybe we'll have to bring Sabrina on. we do have a comment. Yes, how many wardrobe changes do I have? So I do change my wardrobe after each show. Thanks, Fraser, for noticing. Let's bring Michael on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
yes, there you are. Welcome back.
Lovely. So the talent, what was that last question you asked me, Doctor?
Just how much water people have to drink.
Oh yeah. So like I drink a liter of water in the morning with lemon. So lemon, turmeric, that's my first shot in the morning. I try to drink water prior to that. And your body feels so much amazing when you drink water. People don't realize what water does for you. And if you just try drinking half a liter to a liter in the morning, you will see how amazing you look. Your skin looks different. Your eyes look different. Just flush all the toxins out. But yeah, that's what I do. And I just encourage. And when training the kids, because sometimes you have young ones that don't understand, you kind of just got to encourage the whole group to drink water and then the young ones follow. So it's all about setting the trend as the older ones. And that's what I want to do when we talk about property and building communities and helping others. Start from the top and the younger ones will follow after you.
Yeah, so I'm
Michael,
guessing...
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify something. Did you say that in your water you put lemon and turmeric?
In a shot glass, so I put a squeeze of lemon, one whole lemon, turmeric, and a little bit of hot water, and just so it's lukewarm, and then you take it back, and that alkalines the body. And then after that, once that's settled, then I will drink maybe 15 minutes later a half a liter to a liter of water, and that just gets your body right. And you'd be surprised, the turmeric and the lemon suppresses your appetite. So if you're going to train, you can train with that on an empty stomach, which burns more calories and also gives you a better start for the day.
I'm going to start that tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're drinking roughly, 3 liters a day?
Yeah, roughly 2.5 to 3 liters a day. And if you know what you're doing, you don't eat late at night. That helps a lot as well. If you like to eat late, the latest is 8 o'clock. If you want to try and lose weight, try it at 6, but 7 latest. And then you don't eat all the way till 12 o'clock. So once you've had that lemon in the morning and you've done your training, it's about 11. So you've done 14 to 16 hours of fasting, which gives your body and your organs a break. And then when you start eating, 1, you appreciate the food a lot more, and 2, your body feels a lot better because it's had a break from food early in the morning. You know, give your organs a rest sometimes. Maybe 2-3 times a week, try and fast for 14 to 16 hours.
Good advice. Doctor, who are you going to...
No, I'm
always your journey doing that. I'm
worried when we're getting in the flow that we're going to have a little sponsor break at the time.
Shall I tell them about the property side now? Is that where we should be going with it?
Well, we should have started with that, but okay.
It's a build up to that.
All right. Let's go with the build up.
Yes, let's go with the build up.
The next level was obviously buying property when I was young, getting into BMXing, getting into DJing. Along the way, I've always been about helping people. So this new project that I'm working on, which I know is going to do really well, because I've been waiting a long time. Sometimes you have to be patient to get the right business partners or the right people on board that are not just looking to make a quick buck or trying to get up front. You know, they need to have a purpose in your business. So I've been sitting there, and I came onto Clubhouse for a friend of mine, and she was on there, and I thought, let me just listen in tonight. So I listened to it. It was all about property and gains. And because I've been involved in property and helping developers find pieces of land and develop around the country, I listened to what they say. I kind of knew all the jargon because obviously I've been involved in it. And then I came on at the end, like I said, and I said a few words about we're all doing well, but there is a lot of problems still out there on the streets of London of young people that are now being groomed to go out of London to sell drugs. And I said that when you talk to these young people, that when you finally get them, what they say is that they're out there making money. So I said, why don't we look at something, simplify what we do in property so they understand it? Because you can explain it in your terms and how we're talking on here, but they might not quite get it because they don't understand the jargon. We need to simplify it, break it down into packages that's not too long, and present it to them that they can actually make the same money or more, most probably more, by doing property, rent to rent, Airbnb, things that you don't really need money to. A landlord is struggling with his property. You could offer him a deal that I'll take the property from you and I'll pay you more rent when it starts working. It's better than you having it empty. Once you build your money, you can save, you can find an investor, you can join up with your friend, get more money, then you can buy a plot of land or buy a house that is broken down and then fix it up, flip it, make more money. And that way you can do something, improve your life and move forward. So when I said that to the group about helping, they all said, oh my God. That's when the meeting went to a whole different level. And everybody was like, this guy's just come in here and just told us what we should be doing. We've made our millions. We've bought land and we've done 100 properties. We need to drop our tools for a minute and get to the real problem, because it don't matter how much money we make, there's still problems on the outside. So that's a project that we're working on now, and we're about to roll it out within the next 6 to 8 weeks.
And that also closed on in a clubhouse meeting.
Yeah, that was all from a clubhouse meeting about
Amazing.
a week ago.
A week?
That's what we're trying to do. Like I said, I like to grow things from small. So let's try it with a small group and just take it up and see where we end up. And then we've just build more younger people, more vibrant people, people that are more up to date with the phone technology. As you know, all the little kids are on that. They, rather than playing, what's it called? They got a thing called Roadblocks here, and they got Fortnite, which they play all over there's a thing called Fortnite. It's worldwide. And rather than doing that, they can now use their energies to source property, find land, do Airbnb deals, and improve their life and their family's life.
Michael, it seems you know more about the game than I do.
No, I just know this.
What's going on here?
So it's not actually a game, though. It sounds like it's real transactions. Is that right?
Yeah. So you've got a couple of the games I was telling you about, which is Roadblocks, which is what the young people, the really young kids play, and then you've got Fortnite, which is what the older kids play that might be like 12 and above. That's what they play. If you want to know why kids are sleeping in school or they're up late, it's because they're playing. One's playing in England and they're playing somebody in the USA, and they might be playing and they're all talking to each other and they're playing this kind of war game or whatever it is. But what I'm saying is, because they're so advanced in computers, you need to get something that they can be an advanced at, but work in property to make money. So this is where we want to get the program together with Ben and a few others that are very high up in property that can break it down for them and willing to teach these young people how to defend for themselves and build their own portfolio of property.
That's brilliant. And Doctor Who, you're involved with that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything.
I got you.
Wasn't that that's the assumptive close, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like he's on board.
No, he is. No, it's great. So that's my model. Any business I do, just to round it off, because I was doing so well with the young people, people said, why don't you help open a kids' care home? So what I've done in the last year and a half, I've opened something called the Safe House, which is semi-independent for young people leaving care and foster care. So basically, it took me a long time to get going because, again, I had to learn from the back. I like to take it slowly. But what we do, we take kids that are leaving foster care and leaving care homes, and we want to make them independent. So we move them into their own one-bedroom flat or house, or we move them into somewhere where we're there 24 hours, and we teach them how to manage their money. We teach them how to cook. We teach them how to clean, the simple things that you think everybody can do. Some kids just didn't have that upbringing. They've always been eating McDonald's or Kentucky or Deliveroo, or that's how their life has been, and somebody's always cooked for them. So we get them like that, and then we teach them how to, go out and work in the working environment, do the things like what we're talking about, helping them to get onto the property ladder. Whatever their strengths are, we work on that. And then once they're ready, the government will help them to get a flat, and then we can send them on the way and then make way for the next person to come into our care.
Yeah, I would love to say it was only those kids, Michael, but I have a lot of student-lets, and some of these kids are from very posh parents. They do not know how to change a light bulb. These are 19, 20, 21-year-olds, and I'm thinking, what have you just done? So yeah, I totally get what you're saying, but it's not just underprivileged children that suffer from this.
Yeah. Well, we're open to help anybody, really.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's keep it together and keep everybody focused.
A question I have, Michael, is that first of all, I think what you're doing is tremendous, and again, changing one life at a time. You must have a limited number of occupants for the safe house. I'm wondering, how does someone get to apply, or what is the process?
So when you have the young people together, depending on what background, you have something called placement matchmaking. So what you must do is make sure that one person is not in a gang that is mixed up with the other person. So you make sure that that's all clear first. The magic number for certain age groups is about 3 to 4. I wouldn't go 5, because once you've got 4 young people together, you can kind of control that. Once you start going into 5 and 6, and then once you fill that property, the government pay you to look after them, to get them ready. And then you buy another property and then you put them in that as well. And in some cases, they're already gone past the group setting where they're together. They just want you to put one person in one bedroom flat, and then they can it's like they're almost ready to go. So they want them to really feel independency. And once you kind of do the reports and say that they're ready, then you let them go. So the more kids you get is more properties you have to take on. So I've took on quite a few, and we're moving forward. And it's, as I said, it's starting to work. But like I said, it's a long-term thing. But I know once it starts to go and we put all the programs in place, it's going to roller coaster.
This is incredible, Dr. J. Many of the things that Michael's doing. Michael, right at the beginning, you said you take your time to choose your business partners, right? Because you don't want to be in a wrong business partner. What's the criteria for getting? Because this is the foundation of your businesses, and helping, whether it's reaching out and helping community or building a business. What's the criteria, and how long do you take?
Really, you got to really select your business partners carefully, because some people just want to get it perfect before they put it out. And sometimes you have to make those little mistakes on the way, because when you make mistakes, you learn from it. So I think it's about, getting as perfect as you can, but sometimes you're not going to be that perfect until you go through the process. So the idea is to make somebody that you're working with, like, we don't have to have it perfect. Let's just get it to where it is, and let's roll it out and improve it along the way. The other thing is to have somebody that is sincere and is on the same journey as you, but also to make sure the ones that you pick are not on the same skill set as you, like I said earlier, but are on a skill set that is maybe above you, or expertise in other areas that the business needs, so that you can both build on your own sides together and build it into a powerful company. And also work with people that in our group that are looking to just elevate the world. That's how I see it, and if you elevate the world, you can be the best.
That's so true. It sounds like you've had a bad business partners in the past who just wanted money rather than the vision. Is that correct?
No, I wouldn't say I think I haven't had business partners, because I'm very hands-on and I keep a very good eye on it. I know a lot of people like to let go sometimes with their businesses within the first. Some people I've seen let go within the first 3 to 6 months, but I like to keep my eye on a lot of stuff. And, you have to have a remote access, whatever you're doing, because it's only got to take one component, what you're not doing, to let the business crash. So you have to either have somebody looking over it for you, or you've got to look over it yourself.
Right. But back to the value system, having the same values, because you mentioned this like 3 or 4 times now. And you've mentioned like you don't want a business partner that's just money all the time. Yeah.
We want long term. We want long term growth. And if you get the lucky hit and you get a quick short-term growth, then good luck. But the idea is, when you grow quick, you need to understand where it came from. So not money coming quick and money spent quick. It's about money coming in quick and you invest for the long term and stay on the long journey.
Yeah, I really love that.
I do too.
I knew you're just jumping at the bit. That's one of the things, so please.
So I had another question regarding Safe House and the government. So after someone comes through your program, are there follow-ups that have to take place, or is there some type of measure that's I don't know if the word's measure, and it's not return on investment, but to help you with your program, are there some criteria that you have to provide after someone comes through the program?
So you have to reply to everybody's accountable. So you have to I have staff that go into the properties that are they're not monitored, and they go in and see that the young person is doing what they're meant to do. So it could be twice a week, it could be 3 times a week. It depends on the severity of the young person. If they're very high needs, then you go in 5 times a week. If they're very low needs, then you might go in 2 or once a week. But some of the young people are already using the system, and they actually improve so much that you only have to go and see them maybe once a week. But then you have some others that obviously come into the system because they're running away from something, running away from gangs, maybe running away from family, and they just need that person to listen to and for them to listen to get better. So it depends on the needs. And once they come through that system and they're vetted, then the council give you more. But if you don't do it and you don't do the things that the council and the government want you to do, then they can start pulling the kids away from your home one by one till you haven't got any. So it's best just basically you're accountable to them. They pay you to look after the young people, but if you don't do the right thing and the young people are not getting the results and you're not looking after the property, so if there's a broken window and you haven't replaced it in 2 weeks, there's a broken lock, where I replace within 24 hours or the same day, and people leave it done and the council find out, they will pull the kids from you. So it's about looking after these young people like they're your own kids.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It sounds like it's not simple for anyone out there who's watching. Like, not only do you have to manage the properties, but you're in charge of helping people change their lives and making sure that they're being heard and staying on the right path. So thank you for everything you're doing with that.
Thank you. No, brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, it's a journey. Everything's a journey. And some days you have hard journeys in this game, and some days you have a day like this where everything just flows into place.
There's another component which we touched a little bit back on earlier, and I asked Michael about whether he had people who were maybe a little bit jealous and so on. And there's a reason I asked that question, because I find that most people who've added a lot of value, the number of jealous people or haters is very, very small, if at all, maybe one or two people. And I often hear in other worlds where you have all these so-called coaches saying that the higher up the chain you get, more and more people are jealous of you and they hate you. And I always believe actually that's not the case. I believe that they've actually harmed other people and they've created those haters rather than giving you value. That either they've scammed them or they've done something. Whereas if you're truly adding value, the number of so-called people who dislike you, very, very, very small, if any at all. So this is why I loved Michael's answer to that question, because it's just a belief that I have. And every time somebody says, yeah, I've got a lot of haters, I'm instantly concerned about what they're doing. I don't know what do you think about that, Michael?
Yeah, I think really you've got to look at the top 5 people or the top 10 people that are around you. And if you do have that, then you need to change your circle of people that are around you, because, you can be on that treadmill, that rat chasing that treadmill all the time. But if you don't change your circle and you stay in that circle, you're going to stay on that treadmill with everybody chasing each other's tail and trying to get into the game. And that's how it will go. But in general, you can still keep your same friends. But when you're out of that circle, you got to find a new group to kind of start, working with, talking with, change your network. And it's sad because sometimes your friends it's not everybody you can bring on that journey because, as much as you try to help them, they're just not ready for that journey. And you have to let them find their own journey and where they're comfortable, because you could be like stressing yourself out trying to bring them there, and they actually don't want to come there. Like they said, you can't, if the horse don't want to drink, you can't bring it to the water to drink. So you just got to just do your best and just see when the right time is to cut it and then start moving on. And you'll see within that year of moving around a different circle, like within a week of moving around you guys from Clubhouse, it's all gone to a whole different level. I've already met 20, 30 people, and already we've just took this youth training entrepreneur program we're going to do to the next level. Now, I might have not been able to do that with the group that I'm with, but with you guys, we can bring it there, and maybe even the ones that are not with it may join on. But right now, it's on a good journey.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And Ben, I'm glad to hear that you're involved. So that's.
I was actually supposed to. Actually, no, I was actually supposed to have a meal with Michael and his wife this week, but because of our bank holiday, it changed up our schedule. So there you go.
That's wonderful. Yeah. We've actually come to the end of our show, and Michael, you've given so many jewels, so many gems. What will you leave our audience with today for any young people who are out there listening, or even parents, caretakers?
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to let young people go on their journey, whatever journey they want to take. You can bring them to the water, like I said, but if they don't want to drink, let them enjoy life. Let them see life. Let them go out there and see what it is. As long as you're over there hovering and watching, making sure they're not making too much mistakes, let them see the journey. And also, always remember that young people are paying attention to you, even when you think they're not paying attention. They're playing the game, but their ears are open. Yep, they might be just sitting, looking at, like listening to something, but their eyes are watching you. Whatever you do is what they kind of get programmed to do, especially the young ones. They pay attention to a lot of things, and I've learned that by working with young people. And for me, let them travel, let them go. The world is, go away with them and let them travel, let them see other parts of the world, China, if they can afford it. Save their money rather than buying that nice car or that train. And say, look, go on a safari, see what the world is about, and open their minds. The earlier you can do that, the more successful they would be. And for me, I want to do these speeches and empower people all around the world. So I want to come to the US, I want to go to China, I want to go to Africa, I want to go to Jamaica, open up BMX tracks and just put back into the community. So open the world to your kids, open the world to your parents, and don't hold them down, and the world is your oyster.
Brilliant, Michael. Thank you. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
You can get me on Instagram, which is DJ CK Flash MBE, or you can get me on Facebook, Michael Pusey MBE. You can get me on Facebook as well. And if you want to see what the Safe House does, it's www.asafehouseuk.co.uk. You can check it all out there, what we do. And here's to the future.
And say that again, please. A Safe House. Can you just say it a little slower?
Yeah. So it's www.asafehouseuk.co.uk.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on everything that you're doing. And we're just grateful that someone like you, who cares so much about people and has the ability to help, that you are doing that. And when you come to the States, please let me know. I'd love to host you. I'm in New Jersey, but I can go to New York or Pennsylvania, anywhere.
Okay, lovely. We'll make that happen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much, Michael.
Well, Dr. Who, he's a fantastic person. I'm so glad that you brought him to the program today. And hello to Sabrina also. Sabrina, we'd love to have you on the show one day as well. So, and again, Sabrina's backstage, so for folks who are watching. So, Dr. Who, where can we find you for the rest of the week? Because I know where you're going to be after this.
Yeah. So I'll be sharing how to get on TEDx stages a little later on, if you're interested in some of these platforms which have 31 million subscribers in their social media channels. So that's the that's your potential reach. Tomorrow, I've got some other things doing. I'm hoping to run a room on cyberbullying and how to protect yourself from bullying from in social media, as well as in real life. And just tons of other stuff. I've got to sort out a television deal with a good friend of mine in a few days. So tons of stuff to do. Yay, me.
You missed one thing that you're doing today.
Yes, no, I did. I talked about it. That's the best.
You said TEDx. You're doing a TEDx talk.
Yes. Yes, I'm teaching people. I'm showing how people can get on the TEDx platforms.
But where are you doing that? On a better
on the Best You program.
Yes. So that's what I was getting at. Our next program comes on at 4:00 Eastern time, which is 9 p.m. British Summer Time. And the show title is A Better You, Lessons from the Best Coaches, Consultants, and Trusted Advisors. So if you are a coach, you're a consultant, you're a trusted advisor, we welcome you. We invite you to come on our platform. It's a presentation platform, not an interview platform. And as Ben's doing today, you present for 15 minutes a lesson to make us better personally or professionally. Then we ask you to put a 5-question quiz together about the lesson. And then we help you build your playlist of lessons. So 10 lessons equal a playlist. And then, of course, 10 quizzes. And people can come and purchase it. And they can also get a certificate. They can play games. So our platform is A Better You. And Ben will be presenting this evening, depending on where you are. So thank you for that, Ben. Last announcement is that we have a show at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight British Summer Time, and is called In the Name of Love. And Bobby Hang is going to be our guest. So we're looking forward to that. Any message you want to leave us with, Dr. Who?
Just that if people watch the replay, Michael's last monologue bit really reminded me of Whitney Houston's classic song, which goes, "I believe that children are the future." And it really expanded that whole song, unpacked it for kind of today's world.
Shall we sing it?
No.
I believe the children. Okay.
I'm going to go have dinner. I've got to be on a show in about 40.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to play a clip for A Better You, and then I'll close out the show. So we'll see you later.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, again. Thank you always for coming and watching these shows. As always, do comment, do share it so that more and more people can enjoy the benefit of some of those absolute gems that people like Michael Pusey MBE shared with us today.
And if you missed our show from the very beginning, you can go over to our YouTube channel, Dr. Jacalyn LLC, and you can subscribe. We're actually on 11 platforms. So our show live streams to 6 platforms, and then it becomes a podcast. So for all of you out there saying, I want to come on your podcast, no, this is a live streaming broadcast that later becomes a podcast, and you can't get on later because it's already been filmed. So, okay, that being said, I'll see you later, Dr. Who. And bye, Michael. Bye, Sabrina. Hello, I'm Dr. Jacalyn. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You. And here to tell us more is the creator of A Better You, Al Cini. Al, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. It's always a pleasure working with you and everyone out there. You know, you might be a coach working with individuals professionally or personally, or you might be a consultant working with businesses, or you might be a trusted advisor specializing in an area like finance, let's say, or the law or healthcare. Whatever of those roles you relate to, you all have one thing in common, and that is you're working every day to help people become better versions of themselves, a better you. And Dr. Jacalyn's A Better You program is an opportunity for you to express your expertise in a particular area for 15 minutes in front of an audience of people who are looking for help from people like you. Yep. So, Dr. Jacalyn, maybe you can tell everybody how they can learn more about this.
It's so easy. You go to abetteryou.tv and you sign up to book your session.